kawuono wadwa twak ewi Gigo Mathirowa en session 9 kawuono, part 3 of Gigo Mathirowa. Chien kanyo wawacho part 1 gi part 2 of Gigo Mathirowa. Kawuono watieko loso ewi Gigo Mathirowa, and magi ok kende Gigo Mathirowa, nitie gik mang'eny to ne wayiero ayiera gik moko aparo na 8-9 kamano mondo wawachare Gigo Mathirowa ma onego bed wang'iyo, mondo walos kuomgi, mondo watwag kuomgi, mondo wang'i ni to ere kama waketogie mondo wadhi mbele, nikech nono to kok waloso kuomgi to ok wabi dhi mbele e yo mwadwaro. Koro aparo ni session ni en session madwa loso grube 2 mag Gigo Mathirowa, manyiso ni leaders wadwa loso kuom jotendwa moko ok odewowa. Mano topic mango. Adwa loso kuom jotendwa, adwa loso kuom jotelo. Jotelo nitie mopogore opogore, in jatelo e odi, ng'ato assistant chief, ng'ato village elder, ng'ato jatelo mopogore opogore. To ne wayiero ni nitie jotelo mang'eny, to adwa loso kuom jotelo kidienje 2 kende. Wadwa loso kuom jotelo mag jokanisa to gi jotelo mag josiasa. To kwaloso kuom mago to konyiso ni jotelo machielo onge gima diwach kuomgi. Gik ma diwach kuomgi ng'eny. Kuom ranyisi, tinde kamoro amora ofis ka ofis midhiye en ofis ma ng'ama obetie komno en ng'ama ichulo msara. To msara michule ni gimoro amora kodwa timoni to nyaka igol pesa. Gimoro amora nyaka igol pesa ekitimoni, to ng'ama timoni ni to en ng'ama ondiki msara. To msara ni ng'ama idhi ire ni, in ng'ama ema golo tax, osuru machule msara, in emigolo e tich mitiyo, obed ohala, obed tich mondikie, in emigolo pesa machule msara. To kidhi ire mondo tim tich mondikne owuon, the job mano sign contract for, the job mano apply for, pod nyaka imiye gimoro. Ma kok imiye gimoro naka koro kony no ok dwa bet ok dwa bedo thuolo inena. To en every office, obed office matin mogik, obed office maduong' mogik, itimo tich that you are employed to do, you are leading that, and yet you expect to be paid for that same thing that you're doing. And yet you expect maybe bro dongre. Koro wadwa loso kuom jotelo. So emomiyo adwa chiwo mano as a global thing, ni ok an gi issue about jotend kanisa kata jotend siasa. You are earning a salary for that job momiyo biro ni konya. To pod koka chuli separate from such to kidwa konya. You know? Can we try our leaders, not political leaders, government leaders of whatever level? Ni you are employed to konyo oganda wananchi. Ni apply for this job kihero malich. Mi compete gi jomoko momiyi. Kose migo, please serve wananchi because you are on the payroll. To ka serve wananchi maber, to the same wananchi biro goni erokamano, mane kaka yudo gweth. You don't yudo gweth by using your position to frustrate people for the job that you are employed to do. Hiyo hautapata baraka. Hiyo nakwambia. And I'm old enough to be an elder. I'm actually an elder now. Over 60 you are an elder. There are very few elders left. So one German the elder. So I'm talking to you as an elder. You are assistant chief, you are a chief, you are a village elder, you are serving the community at the grassroots level. Please serve them because you applied for that job, because you wanted that job. I want to believe you know okay, apply for that job, modichie me. May apply for that job, modiserve Uganda. Please serve Uganda. And if you don't serve Uganda, and you frustrate people, then that means you are removing baraka, not from yourself, but also from your children. The 3rd and the 4th generation is what the Bible tells us. So I digress. Allow me to now go back to jotelo moko. And I want to make some declarations. Nikech nitie jogo maparo na chamo Kisihomi, nikech adwa timo gang'o, adwa use that. Koro adwa make declarations, 5 of them today. Mondo kwa move forward kung'eyo ni mama ni gik moparo go are not true. The first, I am not a politician and I am not a religious leader. So the fact that I know about politicians or religious leaders, I am not one of them, and I do not aspire to be a politician or a religious leader. So don't think me I'm doing this because I do a favor, I do anything, or I do a position in the future. I am not one now. I don't intend to be a politician. I don't intend to be a religious leader. I've told people I don't like politics, and I'd rather just keep my sanity. I stay out of politics. And Kisihomi has nothing to do with politics. And therefore, I'm not using position. There are those who are saying, yeah, Mama no wonder you already chung Governor Masiaya. Governor Masiaya, your job is safe. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not interested at all. Okay, not chung for anything. My position so I'm not using Kisihomi as a means to vie for any political position now or in the future. And so kibaji kikba ngata kikibedi kibaji kibani mama chande cha kugini. My interest is only one and one only, and that interest is to work together with Anyuola muye mondo wakel dongruok e gwengewa kiwango mamalo. One thing mokibinena kiwinja eni okibibiyo kabru kwa ikura to be in a political position, because that is not the intention of Kisihomi. But we are going to hold our leaders accountable. That one you can count on. We will hold you accountable. Nikech uni office gi our tax money. You are in that office with our tax money. Osuchwa emoke to go office go. To suchwa no you are being given so that you can serve the wananchi. You can serve the public. And we will hold you accountable. That you can take to the bank. I'm also not, the other thing that has come out is like, oh, you know, a legacy. I already have a legacy. And I've told people many times that I have a legacy. I'm not creating a legacy out of Kisihomi. I already have a legacy that even if I was to live today, I already have a legacy. Okay? So I'm not building this to front dog work because Adwari Mondo, I leave a legacy. I have said before and I am saying again, I have a legacy that is unmatched by a number of political leaders, and that you can go and confirm. I have a legacy that I have provided job opportunities for over 10,000 people, the majority, over 80-90% in Jugu. Nisa politician mane, mose ndiko juluo teach, give pesa moa yufuko ne, Oha fuko na in the sense ni andiko grant applications tadwaro pesa everywhere to kai yoro ndiko goji. Nyisa which politician was ndiko jeluo even 1,000 give pesa more from their own sweat and their own back. Give me one. And I will tell you I'm not a lawyer. As I speak, zero, as I know. I've returned girls to school without donor funding. Niti masetero donor funding, niti masetero ohala machoko, also t-shirts, also silweche, also branded also sorted, ohala mayuratero when you to school. And I've taken a lot of kids back to school, over almost 500, 483 must take back to school. And so I'm not looking for this to make a name. I already have a name. I have advocated for the rights of vulnerable children and families, and especially girls and women. I have improved health in communities. We were just celebrating our 20 years as Impact last week. Celebrating demonstrated evidence of helping people in terms of improving lives. And I mentor a lot of young people in different places. And therefore, I am not using Kisihomi as a launch pad for legacy, no. And I'll Anyuola Monodonji Kisihomi so that I can benefit as an individual. Listen to the podcast, the third podcast, session 3. It gives you it gives you a background of who this person is. And so if you're giving money, you have 50 shillings a month, don't give it and thinking, no. We are here to konya. I don't need your money for personal benefit. I need your money mono wakonye lego kakoganda. And so those are my declarations, because people have asked me a lot of those things. Your mom with a street, your mom also goes sometimes study a radio and so on, because they think mama ni wono jiniti moroma mopando. So I want to talk about 2 of our leaders that have let us down. I'm not saying when I talk about leaders I don't mean everybody, but I mean the majority. I want to start with Jotendwa. Jotendwa gin jotend utenya sai monego bedni etaya manyiso jopiny wang'yo. Makisungu luongo ni the moral compass. The moral compass mar oganda mar jopiny is supposed to be the church or a religious institution. And Jotendwa have moved from that calling. Bedo japuonj, bedo daktari, bedo Jotendwa was a calling. It came because of the passion that you had, not because it is the only job available. Okay? But sadly, Kum jotend kanisa moko. Remember I'm saying not everyone. Kum jotend kanisa moko, both the moral, we said that jotend kanisa are the moral compass, ma direct communities and countries and villages and annuala and the ought. But some of them have lost both the morality and the compass. So it's a moral compass. They've lost both. Actually, I would say that their moral and their compass are malfunctioning. And they're malfunctioning because you don't see them leading the way. You don't see them leading the way. They've reached that point in Revelation that God told us, it rather, Nimon bed either hot or he bed cold. He bed them. And a lot of our Jotend kanisa name them. And the reason why he name them is because their attention has shifted from the Word of God, from the Bible, from what they need to do to other things that are more personal, more material. And material itself is not good. Even the Word of God doesn't say that money is bad. He said the love of money is what is not good. I had a pastor here since God be with the Lord, but I had a pastor one time who said that the church has become so worldly and the world has become so churchly that you cannot differentiate between Hollywood and holiness. And I think that is true. I think that is true. You can now not differentiate between Hollywood and holiness. Hollywood, where there is porn and a lot of gig paying, the bulk of gig paying, you know, the apex of gig paying, everything is in Hollywood. So right now you can't tell the difference between holiness and Hollywood. You know. And so the fact that our church leaders, some of our church leaders, have become so self-centered and looking for things that, and using the church, that which is the sad thing, using the church as an umbrella to cover up the kind of people who they are. Politicians have known. Politicians are saying, this campus where there's a weakness, where there's a crack. Ngata sani pinka makata joka nisa katobeja kanisa katobeja kanye niki price tag. Everybody has a price tag. Jokorwe niki price tag nyaka joka nisi mone kwe ngato to stand and say me brother idi marong, sister idi marong. They know that you have a price tag. And if you have a price tag, it means in your you can be born. But when you see in your church leaders, go chonge the politician, wait a minute. Isn't it supposed to be the reverse? That now the respect has moved from the church leaders to the politicians because of the way our church leaders, some of them, and remember I'm repeating, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, have been in places where you are called for a function. You go there and politicians bedolungi. Jotend kanisa don't make a statement and statements. Every pulpit, it's like you sit back and you say, was that even necessary? Or make statement kaka eno chungi ngane kyoti mrenadi ngane joges gine na kyoti mrenango. Even was that even necessary for this function, which is supposed to be a church function? It's like you're in a church, but you want to make your position be known. Kina nukajo siasa nitie biro golo ni say it's near rambe or biro kanisa for one reason or the other. It will make your position known for or against in a church where that is not even necessary. So when we bedo urujo donga age, majo siasa sefwenyewa, they know when to what they can silence us. We don't have to talk, and this is not just for my weekend, by the way. This is across the nation. This is not just Jotendwa kanisa Mailula. This is across the nation. Politicians who say nyewa, and kise nyewa as Jotendwa kanisa, then the whole yet is ichalonga mokao ya gine ilo rejango jakwat. Igini kise kao jakwat, mu lead the Rome. So then Rome ko kere. And you sit back and you wonder, young people, you sit back and you wonder why people don't like church or don't take things of church seriously. It's because as Jotend kanisa, we've forgotten what the Bible calls our first love. We have forgotten our first love, and our first love, is supposed to be Nyasaye. But we've forgotten that our focus now is the material gain. What do I already politicians, ilungrini politician, ilungrini kiangano. And it's like, it's a sad situation. And so, while they're doing that, we are having our young people not going to church. We are having our young people not taking their walk with God seriously. And we are having, therefore, our young people donji njao, eref mamalo, and then now we have to come back and see nyithindo donje kongo, nyithindo donje njaga. I'm not saying that is the only reason, but it is a contributing factor. It is a contributing factor that when the church loses the moral compass, when their moral compass is malfunctioning, then the people that they're leading will be scattered. And our young people are scattered. Our young people are donje njao, maketongi magimo ginyal timo, because who do you follow? Who do you look up to? You're supposed to look up to your religious leader. But if your religious leader then he just takes you back and you say like, is it worth it? And a lot of people say like, I know kate lemu, already a lemu, or I'm not a church leader, but okanya timu gimangane timo. And that you have marwa Nyasaye in a quite diluted, because the leadership are not setting examples that we can follow, that will attract us to the church of God and to the word of God and to the ways of God. So kawa chako luwo kama pesa nitie, and I've said appeal man le moko dokchien. Kawa ne competition wala hoja siasa wangi jo kanisa, wala hoja siasa wanuja ten kanisa, wala hoja siasa bila hoja siasa. Why should I look up to you for leadership, for direction? Direction your life. I mean, Marola. So you cannot run and say you should run. In fact, I'm thinking about a bumper sticker, yes, but I think it applies now. It's just come to my mind. My bumper sticker don't read me. Don't follow me. I am lost too. So we don't want our church leaders to be that makorundeke bumper sticker nikiki low and their land. Mamola lo kilo. Ilu ngamungi kamadiye. So, let the church leaders reflect. If you are truly called to be a servant of God, then be a servant of God. But don't hide under the church to be able to get the respect that you actually don't deserve, but you're getting because you don't really want to. It's like, uchumi a thought, or kudonji, to jomadu adonjo be ogengo nigi, because me mad wadonjo tangi nyocha wan kodika tangi nikiri kanisa no negibie to politician biro iluri politician or ngane to kama, and I'm not saying politicians are all like that, but we've seen that too many times. So it's like kichunga thought, you're supposed to be an example for jingi, you're not the example they want to follow. You block them from getting in because they want a little what am I going to do? I'm not even a church leader, I'm not doing that. So move in, money serve God, or move out for the sake of Nyithewa, mono people. We don't want to lose the young population because we are losing them. It's happening in the whole world, but we have a responsibility for Marwani. We are losing young kids who don't like going to church because there is nothing that they think that they're getting in church. And I have an example, I'm even seeing, and this is church. I'm talking about now leadership even at other levels. Wherever you're working, think of the leadership that you have. You have examples I can give them until tomorrow, but allow me to give maybe two, maybe one or two or three. You know, where you have somebody that, and I'm talking about this is for real, somebody that is a youth pastor, and I've seen them in all denominations. Think that one denomination, one denomination, it is individual and your relationship with God. I have had people in all denominations, in Anglican, in Pentecostal, in Catholic, in SDA, in Roho, in what, I've had them as part of my employment. And I've had people, my church leaders on one hand, give youth, children, the next time, okao asoya makatangato no biro nego yeyo. Ng'ato biro nego you at 4,000, odwaro 1,000 out of 4,000, mibiro ng'amo biro nego yieyo e office. You know ng'at ma ene motelo ni morning glory. To kiyudo kako forge receipts. O forge receipts a level ma monego beni okonego beni forge and very high up. You get somebody ma ene mochunge choir, ochunge praise and worship, ochunge whatever leadership in church, ene motelo ni ushers. To immediate teach my procurement, for example, all those deals ma impossible. Deals ma you want to know and how did this person is not even pre-qualified? This person is not pre-qualified to say bill more supply. Keep ngani, how did they even know? We were looking for this item. And my hotel and leadership in church. There's one leadership model tomorrow come somewhere manomachonani ongatobiro nyizani dio nisha nwaga romo kodi to naluor biro romo kodi to nikech koro ngane nisha koro sewe tich karu kanyo. Of course no riembe no kowe tich. Kawuono wadwa nyisi ni ngani osekao hotels bubuk ga to timo training. Oluoro to biro kao asoya everywhere. To koka asoya to wacho ni ngeni miya mang'eny nikech adhi miyo moro our director to mara miyo the deputy director. So ana wuotho ga street ka to jingi ni wuondo ji kato kare chamo ga soya. Okaw gi nyingi without even you knowing. To maeri and leader in the church, in the local church here. So we are not talking about leaders manamanie kanisi. We are talking about as long as you are calling on the name of God, for God's sake. Team kaka iwacho no. We tiyo gi nyingi Nyasaye as a cover up. Tiyo gi nyingi Nyasaye as a genuine, as a genuine call by Nyasaye me. So away watch Jotend Kanisa, and I say Jotend Kanisa, including Jotend, Jolemo ma are standing out in different places. You're blocking people from getting into the church, from getting people into Christianity, from getting people into religious movement. So I don't move to Josiasa. Remember, I said declare Kanyoni, I am not looking for a political position. So by and large, at the era, Jotendwa have let us down. For a long time, Jotendwa have let us down. Over the years, Jotendwa have let us down. And first, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Kama Beniti Etiwajo, Kamarachi Niti Etiwajo. And this is my perspective. I am not talking about your perspective. From what I have seen, I've lived in Kisumu for long. I lived in Milimani for long. A lot of places and this is Milimani, which is supposedly the highest high-end residential place in Kisumu. And that's why I want to give shout out to Professor Nyong. People are saying, "Oh, mano pesa mano yudo kano sebedo negotiated and so on." Niti nyama yudo mo sebedo negotiated to chamote. Nel yudo no lossy cabros everywhere. So I want to give shout out. I want to give shout out to my sister in Nyasuna. I want to give shout out to Madam Wanga. One day no tunamfeel kwa ground. One day no kwa hospital. By the way, in hospital mano yao somewhere. I think it was like something. Mana kete WhatsApp moro masungo niji before I realized nilikuwa nishatolewa. You didn't know, if people are doing this, then we would be where we want to go. And so, what I'm saying is that the public resources can be used to benefit the public, and that is what those resources are for. But the people who are joining politics, negi niya mupogre. Niyagi opogre, you by and large, their intention of joining politics is not to serve the community. That is the farthest from their agenda. Money is not even in their vocabulary, you know? I said Kisihomi is politically neutral, and we are neutral. We are not affiliated or linked to any political party, and we are not, and we will not. Because we want everybody to feel like, as long as they Luo, you feel like my and Dalawa, this is ours, in yetu. And so, Wangira tero mar page politicians where our money is going to, because it is your tax and my tax. Wangira tero mar page, we have a right to ask them where our money is going to. We have a right to ask them, Gimomio lekwa fish plant okti, Gimomio a hair irrigation scheme, a hair of rice onge factory, Gimomio oluch kimira ok miwa lot wan gi right mar penjo gi yo Lunyu community center onge kata gima timre to buildings ni kanyo. We have a right to ask them gimomiyo hospital manitie somewhere in Semeka is not functional iluongo ni Akbar one gi right mar penjo gi all those places and all those things because it is our tax money and we are not apologetic. But kama nitie matiyo maber, we want to also recognize ni yawa mai to tiyo maber. Rome wasn't built in a day. We know some of our leaders just started, but we are hoping that they are going to change and make sure that they do what they promised to do. We know that Jotendwa moko mag siasa be nyoni party ma notero yi. And that is so true. That is so true for Jotendwa mag siasa ma Luoland. One party moterowa, omiyo kata watiyo, kata ok watiyo, party biro duokowa, to ka party ok oduokowa, to party biro dwarwa somewhere else. It's sad. It's sad to go there and think like that is an entitlement of a different kind. I was talking about entitlement of where they were mwakonyo to feel ni they are entitled or whoever mwakonyo or jogo I gave an example of jogo ma somebody dike teach to teach rumo to no feel ni okone go bed ni project ni rumo to neki dwar ne somewhere. It is their right. That is the right some of our politicians have. That one party okelowa, party will make sure that we are returned, whether we work for the population or we don't, and if they don't take us back, give Romeo other jobs. So many of them then don't want to work at whatever level, and we're not just talking about governors. We're talking about governors, we're talking about MPs, we're talking about senators, we're talking about all the people who are elected, MCAs, everybody. King or Mamuteri, is your godfather. Then you think, now I don't owe it to you, to the public, to serve the public. To one mende, as the public, what in politicians so desperately that what gikonywa wedo moko makata koro rach to kwa wachi. Kata koro rach to, sometimes we keep quiet, but worse, we defend. Sometimes it is bad, and we still defend. Because we believe Ibromia teach kona na public kana loso ka defend kweno ngane kero na kwere kabisa. Then now koro jatelo koro nyathi owadwani koro jatelo koro budo sip nani koro jatelo in kendi be nyalo konya koro jatelo, and that's what politicians thrive in. Some of them also either oppose or even raise issues, then they hire thugs. And we've seen politicians who hire thugs, and that is not just in Luoland, that is everywhere in Kenya. They hire thugs to silence you, so that you don't say anything that is criticizing or querying whatever mandate that they are supposed to have for the wananchi. And so they silence dissenting opinions by thuggery. They just hire thugs. But on the one hand, but on the other hand, wapende samoro waketa kirani ngane koro kadwar makata en program maber to kadware. We are in opposition for the sake of opposition, or ngata noko kaw, ngat mana support noko kaw koro ngani I'm not going to support them. And therefore kata koro politician do teach to icharo ngamari igoro ngato mako nungu sirwachi. Okinyal sudo. So politician moro bende samoro do teach to watamre, you are opposing, you are frustrating, that's all that we do. And that also happens. So it is on the one hand, politicians are feeling it, they don't owe it to the wananchi, they don't want to do gido, but on the other hand, wabesa moro idwa no post because ngati noko ka, kore idwa nyale. Idwa make sure any project modwa chako, ibro stifle, any project modwa chako, ibro frustrate, anything modwa timo, in money teach me to your ikete like your full-time job. No se yombi, no se yobongati, reoremo di tiki ngat mokineno mondi move forward. So while politicians need to self-retrospect, even us, kaka dano, kaka wananchi, we also need to reflect on how we are supporting our politicians. The ones that are supportable. We have said that politicians need to gain personally. And then they come in with their cronies. Gima, the psychophants, will say yes, sir. And somewhere come here, 40 years, teach me within 5 years, osegero oto nyom toka to timre nadi. And you said people are running. You're running into politics because you want to self-gain. You want to be the Koro Mataka. But you're not running into politics like, I want to serve my people. I want to see a difference. And politicians can. We've seen them here in Kenya. One King Guinea, at least now you see 2 of our politicians make it to the top when you're looking at performance of governance, for example. But thought Josiasa, Duaro Tingo Ha, Uganda, sorry, thought Josiasa, Duaro Tingo Uganda, Mondo, be self-reliant. Because if you're self-reliant, then you have a voice. And if you have a voice, you can say no. And so, they benefit from our desperation. They benefit from our disempowerment. They give you, Gidwara leo makumi 50 shillings to more Malaysia and Makuri Vero Toma Mayua. Kami isling yacheta Batoma Mayua. And they love to perpetuate the culture Marmia, Gonya, Konya, Iwaya Manakama, you know the Yukojamna. That is what politicians want to perpetuate again and again. Sometimes you sit back and you think, Jomamo Gigasa Makuru Gidwaka did disrupt tomorrow. To imi 100, 200, 200. Amane money do mat together on the team go something on these young people or you go something that will be sustaining. No, you benefit. Politicians are the beneficiaries of our ignorance. And they want you to remain there. Politicians want you to remain there. Where could mo mi leso? Imor makora mi wera na tumwera. Kabiru ma mi 100 bob. Imor bibi mtini ni mkura nyaka gori ngani. Minya lokata gori ma mare muwugi nikech koro atalo ngati. The reason why that happens is not because I'm so passionate about you, it's because you buy me. This is me a chair. And the more that we become enlightened, the more politicians will not take at left, right, and center. The more you will give me 100, I will take it if I want it. But I don't have to. You don't have to sway my thinking, but I think the way I think. So our politicians are happy to keep us where we are, where we can't question anything, where Ginyalutio Kodwa Kaka weapons, where Gibro Gineni Mia Nagonya, where Nakama, you know, it's like I'm going in that way. You know. So our politicians, please help us to grow and lift us up. And when you lift us up, I tell people sometimes, you know, politics of Kenya dojo, ka okimakri kiagi party mane kiako okimakri kiagi ngane kiako okitima ngo kiako tima ngo. I want you to maybe for the first time. Maybe for the first time. But why should you continue a second time? Don't itiji brogolio. When I hit you, they'll see where people to you. Iti you no Uganda bro regardless of who your godfather is. If you must have one, you don't even have to have one. Your godfather should be the people that you serve. So the other also, I think the others also leave politics. So I don't know. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know what is this in politics, ma. Ngata kose bile mati. Talk don't walk. I was looking at after elections, ma recently. I was looking at when the president went to Homa Bay. I think that was the first visit in this side. I was looking at Jotendwa. I grew up and found. When you begin 70s, 80s. Jotendwa makorone kubenigine majibro. Ni wotoma makoro moso gine makoro yonoka. If you need to wait a minute, I don't know what is in politics. I don't know what is in it. I don't want to know what it is in it. Come on, you can do the politics to cut in 70, 80 to put Okinwar. Ego chongi ni somebody is half your age. Somebody machine messing your query. Ego chongi ma. As I said in another podcast, my part we know. Because you're looking for a position, because you're looking for favor, because you're looking for acceptance, because you're looking for, goodies. It's like, can we as you make our own goodies? The politicians, regardless of what level, we are talking as equals. We are talking as partners. We are talking issues that are affecting us. We are not just talking ni konya, mia position. The more me don't read me go to is the more me opportunity mara I don't know in chairman makanye ke inango makanye ki umi ki ango. Most of these people are people who are professionals. Yani professionals the law yanyaga lisomo. Where is our dignity as Julu? We talk about dignity on the one side. I don't know, maybe dignity is also slipping away through our fingers, through the cracks on our fingers. So let us make sure that as politicians, we serve the people. Let us make sure that as those who are being served, we don't hold politicians at ransom, because some of us do. Naboni kora ni everything mo kata en gina dilo now. No campaign ni koro tenders koro en marwa. No campaign ni koro ndiko nweji. No campaign ni koro timango. Then you sit back. Kidwa sabu najema no campaign ni. But then the rest of the people get kani. Remember, when you're a politician, when you're elected, you serve everybody, whether they voted for you or they did not. You are serving the population. You need to serve, you want to vote ni, you need to serve me or you want to vote ni, you want me tenders, you want to vote ni. I will need to that's one of the reasons manowe ne ko biro tender to tinyo mane omi a pace campaign. Ike to tender to gikwongo gi yiero machwe motegno mopugno. Can you say you're going to come on now? You can float outside. Be catching okay. No. Next time, or campaign. It's like go to hell. You don't want to campaign for me? Go. I don't serve 1 inch to a point where 1 inch a year with or without you. So you serve 1 inch, you will be elected. But the reason for me or kwanyal nyaka wa hang on to jomano vote no jomana cannot imango jomana okio campaign no is because you're not serving 1 inch. You're serving yourself and your cronies. They need serve 1 inch, 1 inch. Abro nena nga ni okelo pika, ngani aneno ko gimasano jika, sukunde wane no kadhi maber, mini aneno kamo, chuoti mrenadi, you that mamo, I will vote for you. I don't have to have campaign for you or give you money for campaign. But the reason why our leaders are beholden to those who campaign for them is because they're not serving 1 inch. Koro gi dwaro jogi mondo ti onyiew 1 inch mondo 1 inch okonegi kura. Kitiyo moleo moriere tikonyo 1 inch, you don't need campaigners, you don't need cronies, you don't need even high-level politicians. You just need to serve 1 inch. 1 inch are clever enough to know Ngamasavi and they will vote for you. And that is what we are saying, that as Kisihomi, we will work with you as politicians. But in our counties and in our wherever we are, as partners, with one mutual goal, and that goal is the work. Kisihomi will not be used as a platform for any political gain or any other gain for that matter. It will be a platform where leaders will sit together as Wabrobet Kodu, and we negotiate, we sit together and we see how do we advance our development, how do we move Dongwakwa, Monodie, Ondam, Mamalo, but as partners, not as people who you're sitting on because of the position, because it is our salary. And so, to do that, we ask you to join Kisihomi. If you really believe that it will need to move on Dongre, and kick Dongre pesa mokwa oko, or Dongre because we think this is important enough for me to sacrifice, then go 50 shillings per month. That's all we are asking for. Silly rubbish per month only. And these 50 shillings, you bring it together and we join many of us. The 50 shillings will not do anything for you as an individual. But you come together, Kanyakla. The 50 shillings is what we want to see to help us administrative, to help us monitor projects, to start new projects in some places, to help us do the training, fill the gaps that we are having. And that's where we are asking you and your friends and your neighbors and everybody, encourage them to listen to our podcasts. We are having many of them. And if you like what we are doing and you believe, please don't gombo dongruok mar anyuola na mdomo, gombo dongruok mar anyuola by contributing 50 shillings, and once you have contributed, we'll come together with you and identify areas midwa dongruok obedie. We'll work together with you. We're not going to give you capital, but we are going to work so that we can identify gaps and work with you in training, giving you ideas and monitoring what you're doing, helping you get market for your products and so on and so forth. And so that's what we are asking. Join us and let's kelo dongruok e piny luo.